Hey everybody, welcome to this lesson, which we're going to look at how to use Google Sheets with Google My Maps. Google My Maps is different than Google Maps. Google My Maps is like a customizable map tool where you can do different locations, kind of put some details in, add video, add pictures, and sort of how that works with Google Sheets. So Google My Maps might be a new tool for you, which is perfectly fine. Show you how to use that with Google Sheets and kind of import some of that information. It might be a little easier to pre-build ahead of time. So if we have here, I've got just kind of a sheet coming up here with famous sites from Shakespeare. So some different works from Shakespeare and some locations and where they are. But if we go to, let's say we go to Google Drive and we do new. When you're in Google Drive, and you do new, if you come down here to more, it gives you some options, forms, drawings. One of them is Google My Maps. So we're going to do Google My Maps. And again, Google My Maps is basically a map builder where you can put layers, you can put locations, you can customize it with colors, with videos, that sort of thing. So we'll get that up and running. We'll flip this back over to Sheets. So these are here's the name of some locations from some Shakespeare sites, the location, where it is. Let's say we're going to do another category here because we want another one, maybe like, why would I want to visit this place? Okay. And we'll go down and we'll do like maybe the Globe Theater. Any of Shakespeare's most famous works were portrayed here live. Okay. And then let's say we want to kind of fix our column here. Say I'm in here. This adds some text wrap here. If I go ahead and I do this, I had this formatted already. There we go. So this is how it would look ahead of time if you're doing this. I went ahead and I widened that column. Let's say I don't want this column to be this big and gigantic, that I only want it to stay this width, and I want this text to start wrapping or to drop down underneath. So if I select that box that text is in, I can come up here to Format and Text Wrapping. And right now it's on overflow, which means it goes out of the cell no matter what. But if you wrap it, that will take it to the end, and then it'll bump it down and start a new line. So that's how you do your text wrap if you don't want it to be that big. So we'll do that. All right, we'll flip back over to our map here. You can start from here, right? You can add your locations and but one of the things that you can do, and you'll see this right here, you can import. So we've pre-laid out all of our locations and our names and our things already in a Google Sheet, which is a little easier to use in terms of maybe the maps, and we can go import. And then it'll ask, we can do CSV, which is an Excel file. So if you had Microsoft Excel, you could do it that way. Other options, or we can go to our Google Drive. And because I just had it open, I can flip it over to recent. We hope. And what we're going to do is select then our famous sites from Shakespeare. So there that is right there. It's going to grab and import that document. That's going to ask you some questions. So the first one is choose the column that you'd like to position your place marks. So this is the actual location, like addresses, or if you have latitude, longitude. So I don't want to do name because that's the name of the place. I want to actually do the location because that's where the addresses were. So we'll do location. Then it's going to ask you to do a column to title the markers. So that's where we want to say the name of the places is what I would like to do in title. So it takes all those columns and it asks you which of them you'd like to use. We'll do finish. And now it's going to pull that information or those locations from that Google Sheet. And you see, now we've moved over to Europe and we've got all of those locations, Kronborg Castle, Juliet's Balcony, all those things, and they're all located on the map. Now it's currently an untitled map here, so we'll go ahead and we'll give it a title. So I'll just call it Shakespeare's Locations. Okay. We could do a description if we wanted. We'll save that. All right. So then you can come over here individually and we can go to like Kronborg Castle. And that takes us up here to Denmark. And so you can move around to all those spots. And this is something you could use in class as a presentation tool. You could have students create these. You could share these with students so they could see different options there. One of the things that you can also do is you can also add locations manually. So let's say we get those and then, you think of, oh, we want to do another one or somebody else brings one up. And so you can search in your bar up here. And if I just start, let's say Shakespeare's, let's go Shakespeare and Company, let's say, we want to put there. And it'll take us to that location there, and we can kind of see automatically what's there. And if I'm interested, I can click Add to Map, and it will add that location then to the map. So we get those different options there on our map. We'll zoom back out so we get the rest of those. Okay. In terms of customizing these, let's go back to the Kronborg Castle. We go here. We can do some customization also on each individual location. So if we look here, there's the toolbar. We've got style, edit, add an image or a video, directions, different things. So let's say we'll go style. You can actually change the color. So if let's say right now I want it to kind of be this dark red, it'll actually change that marker. And it also changes it over here in the list. I can also switch these icons. So if I want, instead of having it be this kind of pin drop over there, we can go icons. And you can see there's all these different icons that I can use. You can find them. They're searchable, right? Sports, places. So let's say I want to do a castle. Okay. And I do a search, castle, and I don't have anything. Okay. So there's nothing option. So down here in the bottom, I can go custom icon. And I can actually go then and I can find or take my own. And this looks very similar to a lot of the screens we've used before. I can do photos, I can do a webcam, I can do a Google image search. So over here, castle, and I get all kinds of images. Now, I don't want to necessarily maybe have these pictures as my images to go with the kind of theme. So right here under any type, I can actually take and drop that down. And maybe I just want to switch it to clip art. Now I'll get sort of those cartoony images, right? And so maybe I'll go, we'll use this one right here, and we'll say select. Then it shows up right there. And then it switches that to a castle icon. So that's pretty cool. You can actually customize your icons on your map so you can indicate what's actually there if you want to. Also inside that toolbar is edit. When we edit that, you can edit the title, you can edit the location, and then right now here I've got the why I want to visit. So I don't have that updated right now. If I flip back over on Kronborg Castle, I didn't have that filled out. And so it didn't import that in. But I can, say like, it's a castle. It's cool. Okay. And then I can save that, and then that location will be there. Now, something important to know, if you edit it in here, it is not reflective in your Google Sheet on this side. So in other words, when it imports from My Maps, it only pulls out one time. It's not a live share back and forth. So if you want to have all your information in your sheet and then import it, you can, or if you want to update it in here. The other thing you can do, and this is interesting, is you can add image or video to this point of interest. So if we do that, you can upload a video if you have one already. If you've got like a webcam and you want to do that, we'll reload here. It'll ask us to refresh. We'll take it back and we'll take an image and we'll do that. And so you can actually then, if I want to do that, I can take a webcam or I can take a snapshot there and do that if I've got a URL. But the big thing here is I can go over here to more. I can do a YouTube search. And if I want to search for, let's say, check out some videos on Kronborg Castle, I can actually, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So I can actually take that video, preview it in this pane, but I can select and then I can add a video to that tab as well. So that's pretty cool. As I click on that location, not only do I see the location, but I also get information. I can make information if I make my own video, or I can pull one from YouTube as well. We'll save that. Let's say I want to add an image. So I did a YouTube search there, but let's say we'll do a Google image search and we'll do the same thing. We'll get a Kronborg Castle image. And that one looks good right there. We'll throw that in. Notice, you see, here's the image. Notice now it's 2 of 2, 1 of 2. So I've got the video, and once I'm done with the video, then I can flip it over to the image. So I can actually add multiple media points to each of the map locations, and use that as a tool for, could be geography, any story that you do, where we have some sort of sequential travel or important locations, history, obviously, all kinds of implications for history, to do those as well. The last thing over here, we've got our layer options, where I can come in and I can see specifically these different sites. But if I click on the 3 dots for layer options, I can open the data table, and it opens the same table that we have here. And this is actually that table inside, and it is editable. So we talked about where you can't update in the sheet and have it automatically live update. You can actually do it inside of here, and it will live update. So I can type inside of this here, and it will actually live update in the points. So there is a spot where you can see them all at once instead of having to do them individually. When you're done with that, or you're done with that map, it is a Google product, so you can share it out. You can get a viewable link. You can get an editable link. You can share it via email. Lots of options to do that. So this is a really cool tool, Google My Maps, and you can incorporate that with Google Sheets as well. Thanks.